Bonsoir, bienvenue, Ani. I would like to begin the meeting by acknowledging that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area and wish to recognize the neighboring community of Dokis First Nation. While we meet today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nation people that call this land home. And with this, I will need a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Willie and Councillor Roger. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have no delegations. We'll continue on to reports and items for consideration. 6.1, general government. 6.1.1, we have a resolution to approve the municipality's contribution to the Sudbury East OPP Detachment Board's annual budget. And I will need a mover and seconder, and then we can ask questions. Councillor Dave and Councillor Bob. Does anybody have any questions about the report or the quote that is in there? Councillor Bob, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I presume if in the first year, if there's shortfalls, they'll come back to the municipalities?
I believe maybe Mark, our CEO, can speak to this.
If it's managed properly, there shouldn't be any shortfalls. I think the amount that they're requesting is reasonable for the size of board that they are. If you look at the actual specifications of the expenses, the large portion of the budget is for training, being their first year, and there are 2 conferences a year associated with police services boards.
Okay, and as a follow-up, I presume if there's any surplus, it will stay as a surplus to their board.
Can't speak on behalf of the board since it is an independent, autonomous board. I'm assuming that would be the case, that the recommendations would be just like we do our own operations.
That
Try to
would
keep
make
a
sense.
a surplus just in case, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for? Seeing none, want to read the resolution? Thank you.
It is moved and seconded. Whereas pursuant to the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019, an OPP detachment board shall prepare estimates in accordance with the regulations made by the minister of the total amount required to pay the expenses of the board's operation, excluding the remuneration of board members. And whereas pursuant to the act, the OPP detachment board shall submit the estimates to every municipality that receives policing services from the detachment, along with a statement of the municipality's share of the costs as determined in accordance with the regulations made by the minister. And whereas pursuant to the act, section 71(3), subject to subsection 4, the municipality shall contribute their share of the cost of the OPP detachment board's budget in accordance with the estimates. And whereas pursuant to Ontario Regulation 135/24, section 3(2), each municipality in the area for which the OPP detachment board has services shall pay an equal share of the amount set out in the board's estimates. And whereas the Sudbury East OPP detachment board has prepared estimates for all sums required for the operation of the board for the fiscal year 2025, totaling $31,276.80 to be shared equally among the participating municipalities. And whereas the total municipal contribution is allocated as follows. So the municipality of French River, St. Charles, Marks-Day Warren, and Killarney have respectively $7,819.20. That for each share. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of French River hereby approves the 2025 budget estimates for the Sudbury East OPP Detachment Board in the total amount of $31,276.80. Confirms the municipality's obligation to contribute its equal share in the amount of $7,819.20 in accordance with with Ontario Regulation 134-24, Section 3.2. And provide a copy of this resolution to the Sudbury East OPP Detachment Board for their records and implementation.
All those in favor?
Well, I guess we're done with it.
Yeah, it was a long one.
I'm not so sure if it was might be here.
6.2, we have finances. 6.2.1, we have the resolution to adopt the budget bylaw. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Dave and Counselor Bob. Is Mark gonna speak or just a resolution? Does anybody questions or are we good? I think we are pretty good.
So it's moved and seconded, being bylaw 2025-13, being a bylaw to adopt the 2025 operating and capital budget for the municipality of French River, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Okay. We'll continue with 6.2.2. We have a resolution to adopt a bylaw to approve sewage service rates charged to users of the municipal sewer system. Do we need a mover and a seconder? Counselor Dave, Counselor Willie.
It is duly moved and seconded that bylaw 2025-14, being a bylaw to approve sewage service rates charges to users of the municipal sewer system, be read at first, second, and third time and finally passed. So there's a $10 increase from last year's rate.
All those in favor? Okay, Mayor Pajot, are you in favor? Okay. 6.2.3, annual reporting of the council statement of remuneration expenses. We have our remuneration in there. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments about the report. Nope, seeing none. Okay, we'll continue on with 6.3, Public Works and Environmental Services. 6.3.1, a resolution to adopt a bylaw to authorize an agreement with Circular Materials Ontario, CMO, to take over the municipality's current public education program costs through the Reconnect Waste Wizard and collection calendar. This agreement, effective April 1st, 2025, ensures continued promotion and education of the Blue Box program, but does not include collection services. So it's just a program that is done for the kids and stuff. So we have a bylaw 2025-12 Circular Materials Ontario Promotion and Education Agreement. And I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Willie and Counselor Dean.
Moved and seconded, being bylaw 2025-13, being a bylaw to authorize an agreement for the eligible community promotion and education with Circular Materials Ontario, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? We're good. 6.4, Recreation and Community Services is nil. 6.5, we have Emergency and Protection Services. 6.5.1, we have a resolution to award the purchase of decontamination equipment for the fire department. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Willie and Counselor Bob. Does anybody have any questions for our fire chief? Nope. Seeing that? Okay.
So
Oh, actually, we do.
No, not-
No, you don't have a question?
Well, make a comment.
Okay,
Since
go
I
ahead.
had my hand up. I find that the two quotes are drastically different for this equipment. And I kind of wonder, how can that be? You know, like, what the hell is it? It's $11,000 difference between the two.
So with TransCanada Safety, one of the pieces of equipment that we're purchasing off them is actually made just outside of North Bay. So the cost is reduced right there for shipping to TransCanada Safety. So we're getting a little deal with them also.
Good. Thank you.
Renee?
Mayor Pajot, go ahead.
So the actual cost to the municipality will be just under $9,000 because we've got the grant, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We were successful with a grant of $16,461.
That's good. Thank you.
More questions for Doc? Okay, seeing none.
So moved and seconded, be it resolved that council awards the purchase for decontamination equipment for the fire department to TransCanada Safety, for $23,357.82.
All those in favor? Okay. There's a lot of 82 cents tonight. 6.5.2, a resolution to adopt a bylaw to authorize a software and services agreement with MRF Geosystems Corporation for an e-ticketing software for SEPs. So a report for e-ticketing software agreement, bylaw 2025-09, authorized agreement for e-ticketing software. I need a mover and a seconder, and we can, so Counselor Willie and Counselor Bob. Roger, sorry. Does anybody have any questions for Andrea? Oh, she wants to report. So go ahead. Okay.
Thank you. Unless you're all fine. This ticketing software was mentioned at the budget meeting that we had weeks ago without very much detail. So since we were asking council to enter into an agreement, we felt like a little more detail would be useful, especially if there was any questions about why we needed it. But the reasons really are pretty straightforward. We are getting busier. We keep bringing on more work, especially with the administrative monetary penalty system, which has proven to have a lot of administrative work associated with it. Right now, the way our system works, there's multiple staff entering even just one ticket at different levels, which can lead to human error. So far, so good, but we're basically getting along with paper tickets and Excel spreadsheets and just trying to keep things updated. So we really feel like this very excellent system that we put into place to gain compliance, which was the administrative monetary penalty system, would really benefit from a ticketing software like this to keep everything in a very efficient flow from the time the an enforcement officer writes a penalty until potentially a screening or hearing is requested. So this will take a lot of administrative work off of admin and also clerks and help enforcement officers to track tickets effectively. We wanted to touch on orders, which are Part 3 penalties. Orders are really an increased level of enforcement if we're having difficulties getting compliance from either asking or from ticketing. So these are larger issues like big property standards cleanups, that sort of thing. And once we reach the order level, that means multiple trips to courthouses either in North Bay or in Sudbury, depending on where the issue is happening. So that means a lot of time on our officers. And as anytime we put many hours spent traveling, it just increases the cost of writing the order. This ticketing software would allow us to write our orders that would then be delivered directly to courthouses. So it'll really bring up our efficiency in handling larger issues within the municipality. All 4 municipalities. There are other features which basically all circulate around the efficiency that the system will allow us to implement. There are financial implications. There is an initial investment for hardware so that printers will be added to each of our bylaw vehicles so that tickets and penalties can be printed up right on site and served right on site, as opposed to, again, traveling back to offices, gaining information, and then traveling back to issue penalties or orders. So that will also save us time and bring in more efficiencies. So those printers will be installed, and then there's an ongoing annual cost of just over $10,000. And we're looking at a 3-year commitment to this agreement. So I would open up to questions at this point, but we really just wanted to inform council that we've brought this up. It's part of the budget that you've already seen, but we wanted to give more information to let council know what was coming forward. So I'll open up to questions.
I have a question. So that 10,000 is split between the municipalities yearly, right?
Through, yes, everything will be charged back to the SEBS agreement. So everyone's paying their percentage of portion.
Anybody else have any questions for Andrea? Okay, seeing none.
So it's been moved and seconded that bylaw 2025-09 being a bylaw to authorize a software and services agreement with MRF Geosystems Corporation for an e-ticketing software for Sudbury East Building and Bylaw Services be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Okay, we'll continue on to 6.5.3, a resolution to adopt the sign bylaw as reported on February 5th, 2025. We have bylaw 2025-10, sign bylaw. A mover and a seconder. Counselor Bob. And Counselor Dean. And does anybody have any questions for Andrea or? No? All good? All good.
That 2025-10 being a bylaw to regulate and prohibit the placement of signs and other advertising devices in the municipality of French River be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Good. We have 6.5.4. We have a resolution to adopt a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-32, a bylaw to implement an administrative monetary penalty system to amend penalties for two regulatory bylaws. Appendix 6, Responsible Animal Ownership Bylaw 2023-45, and Appendix 8, Sign Bylaw 2025-10. Bylaw 2025-11, amend AMPS bylaw 2022-32. So Andrea, I need a mover and a seconder? Counselor Roger and Counselor Willie. And then does anybody have questions for Andrea, or did you want to speak to this?
Just for everyone's information, so anytime we add a new bylaw or make any changes to a bylaw that includes an AMP portion or administrative monetary penalty, we do have to update our AMP bylaw so that we can have those penalties become essentially ratified by council. So you'll see this anytime that we implement a new bylaw or make any changes to penalties.
Okay, thank you.
So it's moved and seconded, being that bylaw 2025-11, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-32, which is the original AMPS bylaw. A bylaw to implement an administrative monetary penalty system in the municipality of French River be read at first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Okay, good. 6.6, building and planning and development is nil. 7, we have no correspondence. We have, I need a resolution to adopt the items in the consent agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Willie and Counselor Dave.
Be resolved that council approves the items of the consent agenda under section 8.1 and receives the items under section 8.2.
All those in favor? Good. Need a resolution to, we already did 8.2. There is no item separated from the consent agenda. Notices of motions, there's none. Announcements and inquiries. So where do we want to start? Counselor Dave?
I don't have nothing, thank you.
Counselor Dean?
Oh, I don't think I've got anything to add tonight. I'm just wondering what I'm gonna tell my wife, because I told her I'd be late getting home. That agenda looks so long. I don't think I'm gonna be.
Counselor Willie?
I have nothing to add at this time.
Counselor Bob?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. A report on the, I drew a blank, French River Avon?
Everybody drew a blank.
Yes, that is our seniors complex. That is the name the board chose. It will be translated. We had 2 translations, and we said we'd wait on the one of our board members returning from Florida so she can put her expertise on the translation. I visited the site yesterday. Building 1 is all painted, the 10 units, 2 coats. The flooring is all in everywhere in those 10 units. As of tonight, cabinets are in 5 of the units. And trimming baseboards should be in those 5 units also. They are moving extremely fast. Nice work, as I'm sure Andrea can attest to. It tells me by the last week of March, first few days of April, all fixtures should be in that unit, and that unit should be almost ready. In building 2, all the board is up. And they were starting either tomorrow or Monday, the plaster. And as soon as they move along, the painters will be following them and they'll be jumping into building 3. What else can like everyone else, he's very anxious for the frost to get out of the ground so he can start on the sidewalks in the front and everything. But it looks great. So maybe by the first few weeks of the first week of April, we can have a walkthrough with our board members and council members also. We'll try and organize something like that. Last Wednesday, a week ago, we had our board meeting. We chose the name. Ollie reported to us that she had 12 applications. Then they found out 80-some emails either didn't get through or the people went to their junk mail, or by calling people, people said, well, I never received it. Anyway, out of those 80, there was 8 that asked to have them re-emailed and 4 were going to pick them up. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to touch base with Ollie today. And of the remaining emails, I went through them and some of the staff here because they're just a name and an email, no phone number. We're trying to hunt down phone numbers to approach these people. So that's in the process. And that's about all what I have to report, unless Melanie or Mark have anything to add. Yes.
How are we doing budget-wise? Are we meeting our? Yeah,
No concerns.
good. Good,
Budget
yeah, that's great to
why
hear.
they tell us we're just under budget and
Not very often
which
people
it's
build anything like that.
not heard of, really.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you.
I'm looking at Giselle,
I think it's great. One of the things perhaps I didn't think of doing is this during the seniors luncheon, maybe we should talk about that, you know, to say that the applications are opened, and if you know somebody that put signed up but hasn't heard from us, perhaps we can reach out to both the Noelville and Albin seniors.
okay, I'll talk to you after about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have just one more announcement, or I have to say congratulations to our mayor, Giselle Pajot. I heard that she received an award at the Women's Day in Albin being held, but I'm going to ask Giselle to talk to us about it because I haven't got all the details.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bob. I received the King Charles III coronation medal. I didn't know I was getting that. It's pretty humbling. It was for the work that I've done, I guess, over my career, especially with regards to human rights and women's issues. And it was a privilege for me to receive it, you know, by France Gélina. She was asked to give it to me on behalf of the government. So very humbling, very humbling. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's it for me.
Counselor Roger,
I have nothing today. Thank you.
Mayor Pajot.
I just want to say thank you again to Marc Fleury and the team that put the budget together. Again, we have a wonderful, equal and fair budget to give to our residents, and nobody likes an increase, but I think we did it quite fairly. And the last thing is, again, I was privileged, I was invited by the Chamber of Commerce to deliver the keynote presentation for on March 8th for the conference for International Women's Day. And it was a great conference. It was about 75 participants in there that showcased what they do, either their crafts or their music, and met a lot of new people out there. And it was kind of special to see too, not only that France was there, but the women counselors from the council in Sudbury were in attendance. So made some new contacts that we'll be able to use. So it was great. And enjoying my vacation, and I'll go back to the pool.
Thank you, Mayor Pajot. I guess we all saw that the Rapids are done for the season, so there's another season underway. I did see that the food bank did post a thank you to them for helping out throughout the year, so that was really nice. I know there's some it's not karate, it's taekwondo. It's back up and going for, I saw that. There's just started back for another season, another 16 weeks, I believe I saw. So other than that, minor hockey is pretty much at the end. So, and it's nice to see the spring weather, and our boys are, Counselor Bob and Counselor Dave are back in the bush with the maple syrup, as of our many families in the area. So that's about it. I think other than that, it's a quiet time of the year, hoping for no flooding. And that's about it. Giselle, you waved your hand.
Yes, yes, I just want to say, I received a note that the Solicitor General is remaining the same in the Ford government. So Michael Kersner, who has been very supportive in keeping our OPP station open here, has been reappointed as a Solicitor General. So thrilled to hear that. So.
Yeah, they set out the list came out, I guess, today, of all the ministers that are their positions, their new positions with for Doug Ford's council. So it was nice to see. I think we need a resolution to adopt the bylaw, the confirmation bylaw. I will need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Bob and Counselor Roger.
No closed session.
No closed session tonight, no.
Be it resolved that bylaw 2025-15 being a bylaw to confirm the proceeding of council at a meeting held on March 19, 2025, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Good. I think Dean wants longer council meetings. I think we're, I'm sorry. So 13.2, we need a resolution to adjourn. Dean, do you think you're in favor? Dean and Dave? Are we good, Mel? Okay, thank you, Mayor Pajot. Enjoy your holiday, and thanks.